The piano played by itself. The lid shook. Yellow keys clicked, slow and cold. A dark tune rose, like wind inside a tunnel. My mouth moved, singing words I did not know. A low voice hummed under mine like a second me. The room smelled like a blown-out candle. Something stood in the doorway, tall and wrong, and it sang the last note with me. Earlier that day the sun felt thin. It was fall in Asheville, North Carolina. Leaves blew down Maple Street in slow loops. My brother Luke and I carried boxes into the old white house our parents rented for the year. The porch had a swing chain with no swing. The wood steps felt soft like damp bread. Creepy, Luke said. It's just old, Mom said. She smiled, but her eyes kept skimming the halls like she was counting shadows. Unpack a little. We'll get pizza. In the living room sat a small upright piano. It was chipped and dusty with a tiny metal cross carved into one leg. The bench squeaked when I lifted the lid. Inside lay a thin black songbook. The cover felt like old leather. The title was pressed in dull silver. Darkhymn Stories. I rubbed the letters. My fingers came away with gray dust and a faint smell of old metal like pennies. Don't, Mom said from the doorway. Not until we wipe it off. I just want to see, I said. The pages looked like dried leaves. Tiny notes marched across the lines. Some notes were darker. The dark ones looked wet. Luke tapped my shoulder. Bet it's haunted. Stop, I said, but my voice was small. We unpacked. The hall was dim even at noon. Light came in slanted like it did not want to cross the floor. Dust swirled in the beams, tiny worlds moving slow. In the kitchen the bulb flickered twice, then steadied. The fridge hummed like it had a sore throat. In the afternoon the house got quiet, the kind of quiet that sounds like it is listening. The walls clicked. The floorboards creaked, but no one was walking. From somewhere above I heard soft steps. Not heavy. Not right. Like someone walking on their hands. Mom? I called. My breath came out and touched my ankles, cold and thin. In here, she said from the dining room. Her voice was too loud in the still air. I set a picture of Grandma on the mantel. Later, when I walked back through the room, Grandma's face was turned to the wall. The frame had not moved. Only the face. I reached out and turned it back. My fingers shook. A smell like damp wood rose from the fireplace. Luke? I asked. He leaned in from the hall. What? Did you flip Grandma? Why would I touch Grandma? He stepped closer and looked at the photo. Weird. That night we ate pizza from a place on Merrimont Avenue. It tasted good but felt heavy, like it did not want to move down. Dad laughed at some show on TV. The glow from the screen made the room blue. The piano sat in the corner, shadows stretched long like a road. The clock on the wall blinked and reset to 3 o'clock. No sound. No one touched it. Storm? Mom said. But the sky was clear through the window. We could see stars hard and sharp. I went to the piano because I could not stop thinking about the book. The bench squeaked when I sat. The air around it felt cooler. I opened the bench and took the book out. That smell again, old metal and blown-out candle. Luke stood behind me. Play something, he said. I don't know how. You know Twinkle. Everyone knows Twinkle. I smiled, but my stomach felt tight. The title on the black cover shimmered a little when the TV light hit it. I opened to the first song. The notes were strange. The lines of the staff were not straight. They bent like wires pulled too hard. Don't, Mom said from the couch, not turning her head. It's late. I'll be quiet, I said, but even whispering felt like too much. Something thumped upstairs. Soft steps crossed the ceiling above us. 1, 2, 3. They stopped above the piano. The chandelier made a faint ping sound like a finger tapping glass. Dad muted the TV. What was that? How settling, Mom said, but she did not sound sure. The air grew colder. I could feel it on my ankles first, like I had stepped into a shallow river. The keys on the piano were slick under my fingers. I pressed one very soft. A low note rolled out. It felt like a slow breath in the dark. The room hushed, like it was the first word to a story that no one wanted to interrupt. Then the phones in the house rang all at once. The kitchen. Dad's cell. Mom's cell. My school tablet. They all buzzed and chirped, but when Dad picked up there was only static, like rain on a roof. Hello? Hello, he said. The static rose and fell like someone breathing near the microphone. I looked down. The notes on the page were changing. The dark notes were darker. They looked thick, like drops of ink that would never dry. The words under the staff were tiny. My eyes could not help reading them, even though they did not look like English. The letters moved like ants. When I blinked they were plain again. Sing me, child. Come tell a story. The room felt smaller. I could hear a distant dragging sound, slow and dry, as if someone pulled a bag of sticks along the hallway. Luke whispered, "Emma, stop." "I didn't start," I said. The front door knob turned. Slow. The metal clicked like a tiny clock. Dad jumped up. He reached the door and looked through the peephole. He went still. "Who is it?" Mom asked. "No one," Dad said. He sounded like someone trying not to move. "There's no one." He stepped back. The knob turned again, but the door did not open. Click, click, like fingers trying to learn. "Maybe it's the wind," Mom said. The word wind felt silly, like saying a bedtime thing when you are not in bed. We turned the TV off. The room went dim. The streetlight outside put a weak square of light on the rug. Dust swirled in it. The square looked like the piano keys pressed down by themselves. Middle C, then D, then E. The tune from the book, slow and sure. The strings inside thrummed like low bees in a jar. The book's pages lifted in a breath, then fell. The notes on the page swelled as if they were rising under water. I tried not to sing. I pressed my lips together. The tune wound around me anyway. It felt like a rope made of sound. It pulled at my ribs. My mouth opened. The words poured out, soft and heavy. They tasted like rust. "Stop," Luke said. He grabbed the book. His fingers slid. The cover was slick now, not dry. He hissed and let go. His fingertips were gray, as if the dust had climbed on and would not climb off. The hallway dark got thicker like liquid. The tall shape leaned more into the room. It was not all one thing. It was many pieces like shadows stacked. Where a face should be, there were only two round hollows, not eyes. Just blank places where light did not live. The humming came from the basement door next, but the basement door was closed. We all turned. The knob twitched. Tick, tick. The smell of damp wood grew stronger, like rain in a box. "Don't open," Mom whispered. I was not opening it. My feet were cold. The air around my ankles felt like something licking, slow and steady. From behind the door, the voice spoke my name again, but now it sang it, sweet and wrong and old. "Emma." The basement door unlatched with a soft click and began to open by itself, inch by inch, into the dark that breathed back. The basement door kept opening. Slow. A breath of cold rolled out. The light in the hallway flickered 3 times and then steadied on a weak yellow glow. Dad grabbed my hand. "Stay behind me." But the humming didn't stop, it just changed. Softer now, closer. It sounded like someone standing right at the bottom of the stairs, waiting. The smell of wet wood filled the air. Luke whispered, "It's singing the same song." He was right. The humming matched the tune from Maple Street Lament. The piano keys began to move again, tapping out the melody one note at a time. Then silence. Only our breathing and the tiny crackle from the old light bulb. "Go back to your rooms," Mom said, but no one moved. The house waited. From below, something scraped, metal against concrete. Then a small sound like a laugh, but backwards. Dad took one step toward the basement. The stairs creaked like they were breathing. "Don't," I said. "Please don't." But he pulled the door wide open. Cold air rushed past us, sharp as ice. The light from the hall only reached the first 3 steps. Beyond that was black. Dad leaned forward. "Hello." The answer came fast, a single high note from the piano behind us. The door slammed shut, almost catching his hand. We all jumped back. "Okay," he said, voice tight. "We're leaving. Shoes now." But when Luke ran for the front door, it was locked again. He turned the bolt, pulled, shoved. It didn't move. The chain was off, but it felt nailed shut. "Windows," Mom said. She ran to the living room window, tried to push it open. It didn't budge either. Her breath fogged the glass. Outside, the streetlight flickered. A figure stood under it, thin, swaying slightly like a coat on a hanger. "Is that a person?" Luke whispered. The figure twitched once, then looked up. Even from across the yard I could tell, it had no face. The streetlight died. Everything went black. We couldn't see. Only hear, the hum returning, wrapping around the room like a whispering wind. Then the lights came back. The figure was gone. Mom's voice trembled. "Everyone upstairs. Now." We hurried. The floorboards groaned under our steps. Upstairs smelled different, like old candles and something faintly sweet, like a flower long dead. In the hallway, the pictures on the wall were all turned backward again. Every single one. Less extreme event. Luke reached to flip one back. "Maybe the house." "Don't touch it," I said. He stopped. His hand hovered near the frame, and a small puff of gray dust drifted out from behind the picture. It smelled like the piano book. We went into our room and shut the door. Dad checked the window, still stuck. We wait for morning, he said. This old wiring's making the lights go crazy. We'll call the landlord first thing. But his words didn't match his face. He was pale, eyes wide, jaw tight. When the house settled again, the silence stretched too long. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling. That's when I heard it, footsteps above us. Slow. Dragging. We didn't have an attic. Dad, I whispered. He sat up right away like he'd been awake the whole time. We crept to the top of the stairs. The house was breathing, the walls swelling and shrinking like lungs. Shadows stretched long across the floor, moving even when we didn't. Do you see that? I whispered. At the bottom of the stairs, the piano bench was empty. But the keys were pressing down on their own, soft, steady. Dust puffed from each one like tiny breaths. Behind the piano, a shape leaned in the corner. So. Its head tilted too far, as if listening to something only it could hear. Luke, I said. Don't blink. He blinked. The shape was closer now. Halfway up the stairs. I gasped and stumbled back. Luke swung the flashlight, but it flickered, then went out. For a second, everything was gone. Sight, sound, air. Then the piano slammed all its keys at once, a deafening crash that shook the house. Mom screamed from downstairs. Run. We ran. The hallway stretched longer than it should have, doors on both sides that weren't there before. Behind each one, something tapped the wood, slow, patient, waiting its turn. One door cracked open as we passed. Inside, darkness shifted like thick smoke. A whisper floated out, "Tell the story?" Luke grabbed my arm. "Don't look. Just go." We hit the last door at the end of the hall. It opened into the attic. But there wasn't supposed to be an attic. The stairs curled up like a throat. Dust hung in the air. The smell was worse, mold and old metal and candle smoke. We climbed anyway because the singing below was rising again, too close now. Each step moaned. I could feel cold air brushing my legs like someone crawling behind me. When we reached the top, the space opened wide. Moonlight spilled through a round window, cutting across old trunks and broken furniture. And in the center of the floor sat the black songbook. It shouldn't have been there. It lay open, pages fluttering though there was no wind. The notes on the paper pulsed faintly as if breathing with the piano below. I knelt beside it. "It's calling us." Luke's voice shook. "Then burn it." I grabbed a piece of curtain and Dad's lighter from my pocket. He'd dropped it earlier. The flame hissed weak but bright. When I touched it to the edge of the page, the book didn't burn. It just made a low, hollow sound like a sigh. Then it started flipping pages on its own, faster and faster until it stopped halfway through. The words on that page weren't notes anymore. They were names. Hundreds of names. And near the bottom,